The last 8 weeks, I've been studying and researching the Chinese business model, and particularly their customs, values, and etiquette. The Chinese business customs are quite different than America's. Every country has customs that they follow in terms of how they run business. China differs from the United States in the sense that it is a much slower process and usually a lot more formal than what America is used to. China really focuses on building relationships with their customers before deciding if they're going to do business with them or not. That's something that's very different than in the United States, where you can pretty much do business with anybody. But the United States, or China, differs from the United States in the sense of they want to get to know their customers and they want to have personal relationships. If you decide to do business with China, either through online connections or personal connections face-to-face, it's really important that you adjust to these customs before deciding to do business. The most important thing you need to expect is that you're going to have to build a personal relationship before you can have a business relationship. So be prepared to, compliment the company and say why you like them and what they do, instead of just saying that you want to do business with them. It's almost a form of flattery before you can conduct business. So understand it's a slower and more formal process, and be ready to have to conduct business in that way. And just because it's very different than America doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just important that you're respectful and understand these differences before deciding to do business with another country, in China in particular. So the Article 13 Chinese customs that are shocking to foreigners was produced by the Business Insider. And this explains that pointing is considered extremely rude in China. So never point, never single out an individual through pointing, because that will be very rude and can really turn off whoever you're conducting business with. Burping after a meal is actually a sign of thanks, so don't be shocked if you're at a business meal and people are burping. It's not considered rude, it's actually considered a sign of thank you. Gifts won't be accepted the first time if you decide to give someone you're working with a gift. So be prepared to have to offer multiple times before they'll say yes and thank you for the gift. The World Trade Press produced an article called China, the Business Experience, and wanted to make sure that everyone knew, doing business with China, that bowing is always the safest way to go in terms of greeting someone that you're doing business with in China. If you ever have a question, that's a good way to fall back on, is just to bow, because that's respectful and will never be considered rude there. This slide just represents the differences we see in culture. Whether you're going to China, France, or Korea, every country has different cultures and values and customs. So don't ever hesitate to educate yourself and read up on what the country believes is the most important before going there. Clark Collier, a local beautician in Norman, says that when he's done business with China, he's learned that the most important thing to understand is formality is the key to be successful. A quote that he said was, "I found that whenever I first conducted business through email, I was considered disrespectful in Chinese culture. The United States handles business in a way that all I have to do is call and say what I need. However, in China, there's a formality required." So he basically just emphasizes that no matter what you're doing business about, whether it's hair extensions or hair coloring or really anything, expect there to be formality. Even if it's not what you're used to here, people in China take their businesses as their livelihoods and really expect to have a good relationship with who they're working with. So if they decide not to do business with you, it's not because they're trying to be disrespectful, it's because they feel like you're maybe not a good fit for what their business does. So that's, don't take it to heart, just understand that they just, value personal relationships. So if you don't fit well, then they probably will say, maybe try somebody else because I don't think we're the business you want to use. So in conclusion, China's culture and customs and etiquette are very different than what America is used to, but there are really great ways to work with China. They have a lot to offer in American business. So just before doing business internationally, read up on the culture and be ready to be respectful. Thank you.